In this video, you will learn 7 alarming signs that your man has an avoidant attachment style. These signs are based on years of research on adult attachment theory. So if you're dating a man who avoids commitment and emotional intimacy or pulls away when you get close, then you must watch this video because I'm going to tell you exactly what to do to bring him closer and get the loving relationship you deserve. Don't go anywhere because we're starting right now. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Antonio Borrello and I'm a psychologist and a relationship coach. This channel is all about helping you build great relationships so you can grow happy together. So if you want to make your love life the best part of your life, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you aren't missing anything. Okay, on to the frustrating signs that your man has an avoidant attachment style. As I've explained in previous videos, attachment theory explains our biological need to attach to or bond with others. This human need to be close is embedded in our genes. We have all been wired to single out a few specific people in our lives and make them precious to us. We have a biological need to become attached. And everyone forms attachments, including the most independent and self-sufficient loners who suppress their feelings and avoid vulnerability. We all become attached. It's simply a biological fact. What is different, though, are the ways we attach to others. Your attachment style or the way in which you perceive and respond to intimacy and closeness may be very different from my attachment style. And years of research on adult attachment style has confirmed that regardless of your gender or race or age or culture, all of us fall into one of 4 adult attachment styles. And those are secure attachment, anxious attachment style, avoidant attachment style, or a rare combination of both anxious and avoidant attachment styles. Now, as promised, in this video, you will learn the signs that your man has an avoidant attachment style. This is an attachment style characterized by emotional unavailability, fear of others getting too close, and preoccupation with self-sufficiency and independence. But more importantly, I'm going to explain why it's so important for you to recognize and understand this attachment style. Because not understanding your attachment style and your partner's attachment style can mean the difference between having a loving and supportive, committed relationship or a lifetime of toxic, emotional roller coaster type and dead-end relationships. It's that important. In fact, I don't think I've ever explained a concept more important than this. So keep watching and don't skip ahead because this video will be the answer to so many of your relationship struggles. I promise. You see, in an ideal situation, 2 people begin dating and have similar relationship goals and intimacy needs. In this case, one partner's intimacy needs are satisfied and reciprocated by the other. They are both authentic with their feelings and comfortable with how the relationship progresses. They are in alignment. However, when couples disagree about the relationship goals or the degree of closeness and intimacy they want in their relationship, serious problems arise. For example, consider a new dating situation where one partner craves intimacy and closeness and wants a warm and loving committed relationship. On the other hand, her partner is more avoidant and uncomfortable with too much closeness or intimacy and values independence and freedom above all. Clearly, the couple's intimacy needs are incongruent. I mean, they're practically opposites. This sets the stage for what I call the relationship intimacy dance that is common when you're dating a person with an avoidant attachment style. You see, as a new relationship develops, the partner with a secure or an anxious attachment style attempts to intensify and deepen the relationship by getting closer and increasing their engagement and intimacy. On the other hand, their avoidant partner has the opposite reaction. Because he's uncomfortable with too much closeness and intimacy, he deactivates. He pulls away and tries to distance himself from his partner. So what happens next? Well, if you watch YouTube videos or follow popular dating advice like many of the ones that I have made, you will probably engage in some type of protest behavior or some action that tries to get his attention back and reestablish closeness. You respond to his distancing with your own distancing strategies that are intended to wake him up and make him pay attention. So you try to make him miss you by not being available, or you stop calling him and wait for him to initiate, or you don't appear to care too much. You make more plans with your friends and family. You take the focus off of him and you make yourself busy so you appear to be this strong and independent and high-value woman. And guess what happens? It works like magic. You've given him the distance or space that he needs. He worries that you are no longer needing him or that he is losing you, and that activates his attachment system. He gets more attracted and wants you again. He then begins to pursue and chase you again. And just like that, he shows you that he needs you and wants you, and you get the reconciliation and the closeness that you want and need. Everything is great, right? Well, not if your man has an avoidant attachment style. You see, if he has an avoidant attachment style, your newly reestablished closeness will be short-lived. And as soon as you let your guard down again, as soon as you show your authentic feelings and get closer, your avoidant partner will feel uncomfortable with the intimacy, he'll get cold feet, and then disengage and distance himself again. That's the push-pull, run and chase relationship intimacy dance. And that's a cycle that can literally go on for years and years. When you get close and show your feelings, he pulls away. Then you get frustrated and pull away, and he begins to pursue you and get closer. It's a cycle of exacerbating each other's insecurities and maintaining the stable instability of this troubled relationship. And if you happen to have an anxious attachment style, you remain in a state of uncertainty and dissatisfaction that can go on for years without ever finding the degree of intimacy you want. But when you recognize and understand that your partner has an avoidant attachment style, you become empowered to make some changes that I will talk about in a minute. But it all starts with knowing the signs to look for. So without further ado, here are the most common and frustrating signs to look for. Number 1, he sends mixed messages about his feelings for you. Sometimes you feel that he really likes you. Other times you aren't so sure. He says things like, "I'm not ready to commit," but he wants to act like a couple. Or he doesn't want to make anything official or give you any commitment. He gives you mixed signals because he often seems distant and aloof, but every now and then you catch a glimpse of his vulnerability. This makes you feel like he has a tough exterior, but he's softer on the inside and will eventually become emotionally intimate and vulnerable. Another thing, he avoids physical closeness such as sharing the same bed, cuddling after sex, or being physically near you or affectionately holding your hand while watching TV together. Number 2, he doesn't make his goals and intentions clear. He doesn't bring up the relationship talk or tries to avoid talking about the relationship when you inquire about the future. He prefers to keep things fuzzy and may make you feel uncomfortable for asking about the relationship. Or he may flirt with others as a way of introducing insecurity in the relationship. Another example, rather than removing his relationship status on social media, he keeps his relationship status as single on the front page of his profile as if he wants to advertise the fact that he is single. Or despite being in a relationship with you for some time, he keeps you a secret on social media. He also says things like, "Why do we need to have a label? Can't we just see how things go?" Or despite the fact that this is troubling you, he gets so annoyed by the topic that he makes the conversation off limits or refuses to discuss it. Number 3, he's uncomfortable with discussing his feelings or your feelings. He doesn't talk about his innermost feelings or tell you how he feels about you. Perhaps he tells you that he has fun with you, but he doesn't say, "I'm really falling for you," or he doesn't say, "I love you." And he makes you insecure about sharing your feelings for him. For example, he invalidates your feelings and makes you second guess yourself by saying things like, "You're too sensitive," or "You're too needy," or "Why do you have to get so serious all the time?" He might say, "Stop analyzing everything. Why can't we just have fun?" And it becomes clear that it's difficult for him to emotionally support you when you're feeling upset or down about something. Instead, he ignores the things that you say that inconvenience him. In other words, he doesn't respond at all, or he changes the subject instead. For example, if you tell him that something is bothering you, he may not inquire about it or try to understand what you're going through. So he's bad at reading your nonverbal cues when you're upset, and he doesn't feel like it's his responsibility to do so either. Number 4, he uses both emotional and physical distancing and deactivating strategies. He often pulls away when you feel like things are going great. For example, after spending a beautiful weekend getaway with you, he doesn't call or text you for a few days. Or he tells you that he has a super busy week and won't have any time to see you. Another example, instead of making or confirming your next date, he intentionally leaves plans unclear. For example, if you ask him about his plans for the weekend, he leaves things vague or tells you, "Let's play it by ear and see how things go." Another distancing strategy, he often adopts a platonic attitude when the two of you are together in public. He keeps some social distance when he's walking with you, rather than holding your hand while walking together. Another seemingly unrelated example, he has a history of forming relationships with an expiration date. or impossible relationships as in dating someone who is married. It's puzzling why he would waste months and years of his time on a relationship with no future. Number 5, he leaves conflicts unresolved. During a disagreement or fight, he often explodes and needs to get away. Instead of trying to resolve the conflict, he gets up and walks out. He may say things like, "Forget it, I'm not going to talk about this anymore." Other times you recognize that he's angry or annoyed with you, but without a specific reason. Lastly, you are constantly fighting about things that you shouldn't be fighting about. And these seemingly minor conflicts keep reoccurring in your relationship. It's always the same fight that never gets resolved. The reason for this? Well, resolving the conflict often brings couples closer together. But your avoidant partner unconsciously wants to avoid this closeness. He wants to remain distant to avoid greater emotional closeness. Number 6, he values his independence and self-sufficiency and looks down on dependency as neediness. He emphasizes the boundaries in your relationship or maintains rules that you must comply with. For example, he doesn't want to introduce you to friends or family or colleagues. He makes you feel like he wants to keep your relationship separate from other parts of his life. Or he worries that his two worlds will collide and he will not have any freedom from you. He says things like, "I could never be with someone who isn't completely self-sufficient." Another smoking gun? He says things like, "Sometimes I feel smothered or suffocated in this relationship." Number 7, he has an unrealistically romantic view of the ideal relationship. When you first meet him, he tells you that he's interested in a long-term committed relationship or marriage. He claims that he desperately wants to meet the one, but somehow always finds fault in the people he has dated or in the circumstances that made commitment impossible. Or he is hung up on or idealizes a past relationship, but he's vague about what went wrong. He is the charming and attractive and successful 45-year-old man who claims that he wants marriage and a family, yet he's never been married or even engaged. He just claims that he's been unlucky or hasn't met the one. Now, if you recognize some or many of these signs in your partner, it's likely that you're in a relationship with a man who has an avoidant attachment style. So now what? Well, here's where things get difficult. That's because men with avoidant attachment styles are often unaware of their need to avoid closeness. They are unaware of their need to avoid intimacy and keep distance and separateness. And when they are in a relationship and feel uncomfortable because their partner wants to be closer or committed, they feel pressure or trapped and they want to get away. They often assume that it's because they aren't as attracted to their partner or their partner is really not the one. Remember, they have an unrealistically romantic view of what a relationship should be like. So rather than seeking greater insight into their own attachment system, they assume that they've been unlucky in love and maintain the belief that when they meet the one or when they meet their soulmate, then the need for independence and distance will magically disappear. And as you can imagine, this results in them finding themselves in one failed relationship after the other, repeating the same cycle again and again, and they eventually become the 50 or 55-year-old successful and charming and attractive bachelor that never gets married and never has children. Now, here's the good and the bad news. If you're in a long-term relationship with an avoidant partner, there's hope that the two of you can turn things around and achieve a more secure and satisfying relationship for both of you. But obviously, that starts with having a partner who is open to educating himself about attachment theory and how it affects his personal relationships. It truly is possible for them to change. Help is out there in the form of great books on this topic and many great therapists, but it starts with a willingness to look inside and a desire to change. With that willingness and education, you can navigate a healthy and secure relationship. On the other hand, if you are in a newer relationship or in a relationship with an avoidant man who lacks insight and refuses to educate himself, you're setting yourself up for more of the same for months or years to come. Ultimately, you have opposing attachment and intimacy needs and are bound for more dissatisfaction and heartbreak. In that case, perhaps it's better to put your self-love and self-respect above your feelings and walk away. I'm going to talk more about this in the next video. I've also made a video about how to get your man more emotionally attached to you. Click here to watch that video, or click here to watch a video about how to tell if your man has a secure attachment style. And in the next few videos, I'm going to continue to discuss anxious attachment style and more about the anxious avoidant trap and how they impact relationships. So if you're interested in those topics, make sure that you're subscribed and hit the bell notification so you see those videos as soon as they come out. I'll see you in the next video.